So California's what we're really seeing is a trial balloon testing out how ready California is to ban gas-powered cars. So speaking at an air quality workshop in San Diego, Mary Nichols, who's head of the California Air Resources Board, she had these prepared remarks that had her saying that in order to get tougher on pollution, that might mean, and she gives as examples, tougher requirements for low carbon fuels, looking at tighter health protective regulations on California refineries, doubling down on our enforcement efforts on mobile and stationary sources, and that we might have to have an outright ban on internal combustion engines. And now, when it came to actually delivering the remarks, she just stepped back and was more vague. And so she said that we might need tougher measures like fees, taxes, and bans on certain types of vehicles. And one thing that I found interesting, aside from the fact that I'm very happy once again to have left California, was that the focus in terms of people's reaction to this was completely on banning gas powered cars. And yeah, that's bad. I mean, it means forcing us to use more expensive, inferior technologies. But what was striking was so did the other elements on our list: tougher requirements for low carbon fuels, tighter protections on restrictions on California refineries. All of that is stuff that is going to force us to use expensive, inferior technologies or take good technologies and make them more expensive. And I think the difference is that people have a much clearer sense of the fact that alternatives from cars are inferior, at least that they're more expensive, and that more than they do for electricity sources, let's say. And part of what that illustrates then is that the it's really important to have clarity on the state of alternatives or the state of replacements. And this idea that we can replace cars and we can replace fossil fuels, it makes it very it provides cover for people who want to ban them. And one point that I'd made kind of week after week is that it's just revealing that the Greens have nothing positive to offer. It's not building superior alternatives. It's You essentially have a movement that considers itself idealistic for just wanting to destroy things and stop us from using the best alternatives. Like, this is their glowing proposal: is we're good because we want to ban one of the most important creations of the 20th century.
Yeah. So my thought on this is that there really is no plan in detail. So it's essentially like the Green New Deal legislative proposal, which is super vague because there is no real plan, there is no real alternative. And think about what would be necessary to have a positive approach, like keeping California's miles traveled per capita in a year, or even increasing that, because we want progress, so we want to travel more overall, uh, and just shuffling that from fossil fuels. California, of course, uses a lot of oil, to electric vehicles. Now, let alone doing that in any short time frame. Just think about California is struggling right now, just importing a lot of electric power from other states, and in every summer there could be too little amount of water in the rivers to feed the hydro plants, and then you have a massive shortage, and too much solar installations creating other problems with grid stability and so on. And now introduce all of the energy that is right now provided by fossil fuel derived fuels like gasoline and diesel, from the electric power system. This is a massive cost increase. It will definitely create problems keeping up with the actual service that we want, miles traveled. And even if you would think that the electric vehicle production was feasible to do this kind of thing in a 10 or 20-year time frame, just the infrastructure demand and the new power plants that would be necessary to do that and so on. So there's no actual plan. These are fantasies. and it's not a real solution to anything, and it's not human centered. It's not like, oh, we want to solve the problem of travel for Californians, and we want to do that in a better way. It's just, okay, we want to reduce CO2 by any means, or nitrous oxide emissions by any means, and whatever tyrannical thing is then necessary, if the people go hungry, so be it. That's the goal.